Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show for round 2 of the PureGT iRacing series. As you may have noticed, we are at Oulton Park International for the event. Ferrari's 488 out in force, and qualifying will be beginning in just under 5 minutes time. So if you haven't already, make sure to go grab a snack, because when the action starts, it won't be stopping for, well, at least until after race 1. We're going to be having a little break after the first race of the night, maybe 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to be jumping back in for the second race, which will be that reverse grid. I just realized I need to change one of the assets, because I have the one from when I was commentating the BSR Masters yesterday. There we go. So let's jump onto the circuit then, and let's ride on board with somebody. Who should we ride on board with? Whose day should we ruin by commentator cursing them? Let's ride on board with the man who won last time out, Chris Knox, as he's making his way currently down through Island Bend. Keep the car to the left. Nice late braking into Old Shell corner. Diagonal braking as well. And then just hope that the camber of the corner keeps the car nicely turned in. Through turn 6 and down into the Britain's chicane. Seen a few drivers dropping it down to first through there, but not the case for Chris Knox. He keeps in second. Down towards Hislops. Second gear, get as close to the tyre wall as you dare. And now into Knickerbrook. You can carry a surprising amount of speed through there. I'm surprised Chris didn't carry a little bit more. Anyway, up through Clay Hill. Through turn 14 and into Druid's Corner. Not to be confused, of course, with Druid's Hairpin over at Brands Hatch. That's on the other side of the country. And now, Lodge Corner. Second gear, easy on the throttle. Off camber is Lodge Corner, and super easy to lose the back end. You have to be very gentle. Probably that's going to be the corner where we see most of the mistakes today. Into Old Hall Corner, turn 1. Running wide as Chris Knox. You can get away with that. But of course, we'll still get an incident point. Down through Denton's and into Cascades. Again, running a bit wide. The track limits on the exit of Cascades is very, very odd. Even if you put a wheel, just a little bit wide, you end up getting a penalty. It's very strange. Through Island Bend again. And actually, as I say that, I just realised I should have opened up Race Labs. Alright, let's get the old overlay up. There we go. Someone spun up ahead. Let's take a look at who else is putting in quick laps. James Kell, currently a couple of tenths down of Chris Knox. John Westbrook, he was fairly quick at Donington Park. And let's see what he can do. The field definitely much closer than what we saw at Donington Park. Top 3 separated by less than 0.3 of a second. It is then a jump down to Kevin McGlone in a P4. I think Kevin McGlone, the man responsible for quite a few incidents at Donington, if memory serves me correctly. Although I may need to check on that. I might be blaming the wrong person there. Either way, got Barry Rabbit, Tom Holbrook out as well. Same for Richard Abbott. He was out last time around. Clive Bailey was present. So was Mark Hoskin in this 666 car. Is there anyone else that I'm recognising? I think Nick Phelps was about. I think I've mentioned Richard Abra and potentially Max Hunt as well. But do you get your messages through in the chat? I'd love to hear who you are here to support, or whether you're just a neutral party and just looking forward to witnessing some fantastic racing here at Oulton Park International. Not gonna lie, I do like that livery of Barry Rabbit. Very nice blue colour and some nice yellow to spice things up. Right, so that is the end of practice, and we will now be jumping in for qualifying. Second qualifying session of the PureGT iRacing Series season. Everyone will be out on track, or I should say everyone will be out on the same piece of tarmac for the 10 minutes of quali. Sorry, 10 minutes, not 15 minutes. I do apologise. Sorry, Damo there. I can't remember who it was. My memory's telling me that it's Kevin McGlone, but I can't remember. There was someone last time out at Donington who was, let's say, very aggressive and shutting doors a little bit too early. And I wasn't afraid to say it then, but it was overly aggressive and dirty driving. It might not be Kevin, so I do apologise. If it wasn't Kevin, I do apologise. But either way, hopefully all of the racing here at Oulton Park will be clean. Mark Radcliffe is one of the first drivers out. Right, I definitely saw a, sorry, not Richard Abra, it was Barry Rabbit further up ahead. Let's ride on board then with Barry for his first flying lap here at Donington Park. Down into Old Hall corner, fourth gear, misses the apex by a bit, and that will definitely cost him some time. Through Dentons and into Cascades. Third gear, easy on the power, just feeding the power on all the way through. Could have used up a bit more track, but playing it cautiously. Into Island Bend. No downshift, just holds it in fifth gear. Keep the car all the way over to the left, down into Old Shell corner. First gear, easy on the throttle. And now down into Britain's. Ooh, didn't quite take enough curb through the left-hander. And that just compromises him on the exit. Into Britain's. And, Mr. Barry Rabbit will be hoping the Ferrari up ahead gets well out of the way. That is the 666 right now of Mark Hoskin. Christian Wafer, the first man to complete a lap, a 1:50.7. Definitely expecting quicker times than that throughout the remainder of qualifying. Through Druids, nice and tidy. Not quick though for Barry Rabbit, and I think he'll probably be able to find maybe up to half a second in the future lap. 32.8 from James Kell puts him up into provisional pole. Here comes Barry Rabbit though. What will this be? Across the line, a 35.4. 2 seconds shy of Chris Knox. What about Kevin McGlone? He's making his way down into Druids. Out of turn 17 to complete a lap for Kevin McGlone, 33.8. That would have been enough for P4, but it was an invalidated lap. Someone's run off circuit. Mark Ratcliffe put in a 35.3. That hasn't counted. What about Tom Holbrook? He's just made his way through Cascades. Not looking very tidy though, is it? Let's run on board with Chris Knox. Currently 2/10 shy of that provisional pole time set by James Kell. Takes maybe a bit too much curb on the exit of Druids. Down into Lodge Corner. Always good to get a nice late apex, straighten up the car as much as you can just to get on the power as you go over the crest. What will this be for Chris Knox? It's a 32.874, 200ths shy of what James Kell was able to do. Speaking of James Kell, he's making his way up through Clay Hill. And he's actually going to lift out of this. Kevin McGlone is pushing though. He's set that 1:33.8 before. Invalidated time into Lodge Corner. Drifts wide. That's what we mean about, you know, having to take that late apex. If you try to take an early apex, it's just so easy to understeer wide and you just can't get on the power properly. Kevin McGlone 34.8 that time around. What about Mark Ratcliffe? Mark Hoskin is on a lap. I kind of want to sit on board with Tom Holbrook. He just put in a 46.7. Nick Phelps making his way out of Druid. Nice late apex for Nick Phelps. That's what we're talking about. Bit of a moment with the rear end. Go back on the power as quickly as you can. And Nick Phelps, what will that be? A 34.6 P5. Mark Oskin taking it easy as he makes his way down into Knickerbrook. But again, just doesn't quite carry the right amount of speed. Takes too much speed and takes too early of an apex, so he has to lift off just to wait for that front end to grip a little bit more. If you take a slightly later apex, you can get on the power just that little bit earlier. Down into Lodge Corner. And again, that's what we're talking about. Too early apexes for Mark Oskin. Definitely cost him time. Martin Thomas making his way right now down into Old Shell Corner. Not to be confused with the New Shell Corner, which I don't know where that is, to be honest. Through Britons. Clay Hill down into Druids. Martin Thomas currently sitting P11 with a 1:35.7. 3/10 he needs to find if he wants to jump ahead of Barry Rabbit, who's currently in that P10 spot. Early turn in, Martin Thomas is forced to just hold a tight line through Lodge Corner, and I think that'll cost him a bit of time either way across the line. What will it be? It's a 36.8 for Martin Thomas. Not what you would have wanted at all. How's Barrett? Actually, we've been on board with Barry Rabbit before. Let's sit with Nick Phelps making his way through Ireland Bend. Drifts a bit wide, tries to get on the power nice and early. Back end, just wants to step out momentarily. But Nick keeps it in check, down into Britons. Nice and lay on the brakes. Now down towards the Hislops. Misses the apex slightly, that'll compromise them. Pulls the car over to the left for Knickerbrook. Back on the power. Oh, maybe takes a bit too much curb. And it just unsettles the rear end. Tidy through Druids. This might be an improvement for Nick Phelps, but he's currently 4/10 behind Kevin McGlone in P6. So here we go then, Nick Phelps will come across the line. 34.2. 400ths shy of what Nick Phelps, or of what Kevin McGlone was able to do. 30 seconds remaining in qualifying. John Westbrook has backed out. Chris Knox is in the pit. Richard Abre, he's pushing coming out of Lodge Corner. Here's the final lap, but currently in a fourth with a 33.7. Only able to do a 34.2. Kevin McGlone in the pits. Steve Akasha is on a lap, but he's not going to be able to complete his lap in time. What about Clive Bailey? No, Paul Wafer. Okay, let's run on board then with Mark Hoskin. He might have a chance. No, never mind. That, ladies and gents, is the end of qualifying. And with that said and done, it is a time to jump on into race 1 of the night. Oh, actually, I just remembered I need to go onto Race Lab, change it from fastest lap times to last lap times. Because we don't care about the fastest lap times in the race. Alright then, a 15-minute, or pardon me, not 15-minute, a 10-lap race here at Oulton Park International. For those of you joining in, this is the PureGT iRacing Series Race 2, or I should say Race 1 of Round 2 here at Oulton Park. We are running with both of the bus stop chicanes of Britons and Hislops. And it is Chris Knox who will be starting on pole, ahead of James Kell, John Westbrook P3, Richard Abre P4. Max Hunt and Kevin McGlone make up row 3. Nick Phelps, Steve Akasha, row 4. Tom Holbrook and Barry Rabbit make up the top 10. And then it's Martin Thomas, Clive Bailey, Albert Vella, Paul Wafer, Christian Wafer, Mark Ratcliffe, Mark Hoskin, John Williams, Simon Shaw, Samuel Marshall, and completing the grid in P21, Steve Gummer. So, we wait for everyone to jump in. There is someone missing on the side of your screen. There you go. They've hopped on in. So the revs should be rising any moment now. Let me know in the chat who you think will be taking the win tonight. Of course, race 2 will be that reverse grid. And that could definitely see some spice coming through at Donington. It was very difficult to overtake. But the revs are rising here at Oulton Park for race 1 of the night. And we are underway. Is it a good enough start from Chris Knox? It looks like it is. And he should be able to have a clean run into turn 1. No, he won't. James Kell has the run down the inside. Goes James Kell as Chris Knox tries to hold it around the outside. But James Kell is up into the lead of the race. A fantastic start. Also, the same can be said for John Westbrook. He's gained a position 2, moving up into P3. We saw someone running wide through Britons. Oh, big contact in the background. And a couple of cars spinning. I think that was... I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Kevin McGlone and John Westbrook, to be honest. But either way, it's still James Kell leading from Chris Knox. And then a bit of a gap down to Max Hunt in P4, with Barry Rabbit having had a great start moving up into P5 on the grid. And then he's got Martin Thomas shortly behind him. So, Richard Abre from Max Hunt and Barry Rabbit in this battle for P3. Are there any other close groups? Steve Kasha not too far behind Kevin McGlone, was not at the start he wanted, but Chris Knox, he is running super close to the rear end of James Kell, and he is not letting that green Ferrari out of his sight, out of his slipstream at all. Max Hunt also very close to Barry Rabbit. Just going to ride on board for a second. Will anything come through? This very tight line coming in from Barry Rabbit through Lodge Corner. But Max Hunt won't be able to take advantage of it. Back to Chris Knox in the battle for the lead. Just that little bit earlier on the brakes. Just making sure he doesn't run into the back of James Kell. Still early times here at Oulton Park, and you have to just learn from that other driver where they brake, because it's not necessarily going to be at the same point as you. But Chris Knox will just have to settle for P2. He's got a long race ahead of him. Remember, 15-minute race here at Oulton Park. No way through just yet for Chris Knox. And to be honest, I'm trying to think where he can really have a go. Maybe down the inside into Old Shell Corner is a good opportunity. Otherwise, it's probably here, going down into Hislops. One of the longest straights of the circuit. No real long straights at Oulton Park, that being said. You see in the background, Richard Abra starting to pull a gap into Barry Rabbit. Now almost a second. But Chris Knox still closing in to James Curl. Still sticking to James Curl, but unable to find a way through. And not surprising. We talked about how Donington was a hard track to overtake, but at least you had a good run down into the final chicane and a good run into turn one. But here at Oulton Park, while it is a longer circuit than Donington, if I'm not mistaken, seems to be a more difficult track to overtake, especially when you've got two drivers this close in pace as James Curl and Chris Knox are. I think Chris Knox, clearly the quicker of the two, but he just could not quite ace his start. Let's look further down the order, because Tom Holbrook is not too far back from Martin Thomas currently. I'll keep an eye out on that gap between James Curl and Chris Knox. Don't you folks worry about that. MCX saying my money's on Chris getting by. We'll see. My money at the moment is on James Curl. I think it's just a bit too difficult to overtake here at Oulton Park. Oh, that's a moment for Tom Holbrook. Loses the back end. He's going to have to spin his Ferrari around. Doesn't quite do it too successfully. Hopefully he doesn't collect Mark Ratcliffe. He's actually just coming up behind him through Britons. Anyway, back to Chris Knox. In the background, you can still see Richard Abra, Barry Rabbit, and Max Hunt, all within a second of the driver ahead. We've seen 4 retirees so far, 4 retirements. John Williams, Simon Shaw, Samuel Marsh, and Steve Gunner. John Westbrook still in the race. I think John Westbrook was the driver we saw flying wide through Island Bend. As Chris Knox makes his way into Cascades. That is definitely a track extension there. He will be getting an incident point to his name from it. Still Chris Knox struggling to find a way through. We ride on board now with Max Hunt on the tail of Barry Rabbit, but as we've already seen demonstrated from Chris Knox, just because you're close to someone, just because you're faster than someone, does not mean that you can overtake. Oh, I tell you what, Barry Rabbit got very close to the tyre barriers through Britons. On the brakes from Max Hunt, that will cost him just a tiny bit. But look how close Chris Knox is once again to James Curl. A little bit early on the brakes. Can he get on the power that little smidgen earlier than James Curl? Maybe, but it won't be enough on the run down towards the Lodge Corner. Tell you what, Chris Knox is definitely able just to switch on the gas a little bit faster than James Curl is. And James Curl won't go defensive. Chris Knox dives it down the inside. Will he lose it on the exit? No, he does not. Chris Knox is up into the lead of the race. Does James Curl have an answer? If he had an answer, he should have just slammed the door shut on the run down towards turn one, but he thought that there wasn't space, and Chris Knox said, yes, there is space, and he picked up the position. Simple as that. Took him a few laps, but he's finally pulled it off. And now he can try to build a gap to that green Ferrari of James Kell behind. Kevin McGlone closing in onto Martin Thomas. Martin Thomas will run wide. He'll touch a little bit of grass as well. And this is going to give Kevin McGlone a fantastic opportunity down towards the island corner. And pass before they even reach the apex. So Kevin McGlone up into P7. Is James Kell falling back from Chris Knox? He most certainly is. Chris Knox will be hoping that the back markers do not impede him at all. That is Albert Vella up ahead. It's always great when you commentate on the GTE cars or the GT3 cars because you get to see the position number. And then I can just quickly look at my timing sheet, my timing tower, and see, oh, P17, that's Albert Vella. James Kell and Chris Knox will be able to get past Albert Vella without any issues. Kevin McGlone having got past Tom Holbrook, now hunting down Clive Bailey for P6. Flashing his lights as well. It's Kevin McGlone just trying to put off Clive Bailey through Island Corner. Will he be able to have a look down into Old Shell Hairpin? The answer is no. And here we go then, Kevin McGlone around the outside. He gets the exit that he needs from Britain's and sweeps past down into Hislops. Mark Ratcliffe is on the back of Steve Kasher. Tell you what, Barry Rabbit hunting down Richard Abra right now. My timing tower said he was a couple of tenths behind, and that is indeed the case. Through Lodge Corner, a bit too early on the power from Barry Rabbit. He'll have to just lift off to prevent the back end from stepping out. So he just touches the grass with his outside tyres. Richard Abra definitely running wider through Old Hall Corner. Into Island Bend. Barry Rabbit a little bit too far back to have a look at Richard Abra. Has Nick Phelps just made a mistake? Okay, well, Kevin McGlone has got past Clive Bailey, so we missed that one happening. Sorry about that one, folks. But let's try not to miss Barry Rabbit on the back of Richard Abra. 4 minutes remaining in the race. Seeing a plume of spurts, plume of gravel or something coming up. Through Druids, so I'm not sure if someone ran wide. Chris Knox now has a 2.5 second lead from James Kell at the front of the field. Again, seeing Richard Abra just running that little bit wide on the corner exit. Richard Abra as a back marker up ahead. Barry Rabbit starting to drop back a little bit. And that is the number 7 of Steve Kasher, who's about to get lapped. We saw Chris Knox and James Kell passing him not too long ago. Oh, look at the damage to the car. The bonnet is missing on Steve Kasher's Ferrari. Oh, that's not good. Richard Aber has run wide, and this is going to give Barry Rabbit a fantastic opportunity. Can he get the run coming out of Knickerbrook? Not quite. That was Barry Rabbit's opportunity. That was his chance to find something, but he hasn't been able to. Late on the brakes from Barry Rabbit. You can see he's just carrying that little bit more corner speed. Runs a tad wide as well. Oh, that's a late on the brakes. Oh, Barry Rabbit. That is very late on the brakes. He must have seen the brake lights coming on. Or maybe he didn't. Richard Abra, stuck a little bit in the gravel, will drop down the order. And what was looking to be a very promising at least P4, but he's now all the way down in P7. Tom Holbrook about 20 seconds down the road. Well, that 20 seconds is now 6 seconds, to be fair. And Richard Aber has actually dived on into the pits. Well, that is a big, big shame for Richard Abra, and he'll be hoping that on the reverse grid, he'll be able to make amends and be able to pick up some points to even things up in the championship. I'm sure he'll be having some words as well with Barry Rabbit. Nick Phelps though on the back of Martin Thomas. This is the battle for P8. We are on lap 9 of 10 here at Oulton Park International. Race 1 of 2 tonight. Thomas turning very early for his locks. Oh, Nick Phelps just taking too much curb, and that's when you get, I think there's a little undulation in on that curb, and if you take too much of it, it just kind of hooks your front right in, makes the back end just become unsteady for a second. Into Old Hall corner, final lap of the race here. And can Nick Phelps find a way through? Chris Knox is about 40 seconds up the road. And Chris Knox will be securing his second win of the season, or is it third? I can't remember if he got the double win last time out at Donington Park. But Chris Knox will win at Oulton Park from pole. James Cull didn't make it easy for him, but James Cull will secure second. Barry Rabbit in third place. He'll have some questions to answer from Richard Abra, who has retired from the race after contact between them into Lodge Corner. Max Hunt will claim P4. Kevin McGlone in P5. And Clive Bailey will take P6. How's Nick Phelps doing? There's only opportunities into Lodge Corner. Will he completely send it? We'll have to see. Battle for P7. Oh, he was eyeing it up, you know. And Martin Thomas has taken the bait by turning in very early. Might be a drag to the line, but no, Nick Phelps just can't quite find the exit. He tried at the very least. Martin Thomas will take P8, Nick Phelps P9. Mark Ratcliffe will secure P10. Richard Abra P12 in the pits. John Westbrook will be coming home. to secure P12 ahead of Christian Wafer. Well, there we go. Race 1 done, and oh. I'm sure. Is that a Spider-Man Ferrari? That was a Spider-Man Ferrari. Poor Wafer's got a cool Spider-Man Ferrari livery. I think I need to watch a little bit more of Paul Wafer now. I do like that livery. Okay, so that is the end of race 1. Race 2 will be starting in about 10 minutes time. We've got a 15-minute warm-up session, but don't let that number fool you. Once everyone is back, we'll be jumping on in for the second race of the night. And what I think I'll do, ladies and gents, is dive on into a short break. And when we're back, I'll be bringing you the second race of the night. So stay tuned. I tell you what, a couple of drivers were having a little bit of fun there, coming out of the pits. Whoa. Mark Ratcliffe really took a lot of curb. We saw that happen to someone else actually during race 1, where they clipped that little bit of curb, little bit too much curb through Britons, and it just spins them around. Steve Kasher flies past. We should be underway for race 2 in not too long. 5.5 minutes of warm-up remaining. So on board with Barry Rabbit. Never mind, Barry Rabbit's in the pits. Paul Wafer is out on circuit right now. For a second I thought he was going to dive on into the pits. I tend to have that curse. I jump on board with someone, I'm like, let's on board with this guy. And then they just dive on into the pits. Ooh, running very wide through Old Hall Corner. There's Paul Wafer. Down into Cascades. A little bit too wide on the entry, mate. And Paul taps the grass and finds himself, well, in the Armco at his lobs. I'm sorry, I'm just not moving from Paul right now. He's having a bit of fun. He's limit testing. Limit testing, that's what we call it. Limit testing the car. Yo, Mr. Calcifer, ladies and gents, we have a VIP in the chat. We have an esports driver in the form of Jusparek, who has joined us. How are you doing, Senor Calcifer? Cool. Steve Kasher can have a little look down the inside of Paul Wafer. And Paul Wafer will run wide, and Steve Kasher will be very thankful for the position. Okay, so I can guarantee you Paul Wafer just got a black flag, because when you cut from Cascades down towards his lot, the game will give you an automatic black flag for completing the lap while missing the sector. So Paul Wafer will have to dive on into the pits at the end of this lap, at the very least. How am I? I'm not doing too badly. Not doing too badly. Spending a nice evening just commentating on some Ferraris here at Oulton Park. Race 1 was alright, but to be honest, here at Oulton Park, I won't lie, not the most exciting track for the Ferraris. You can't really stretch out their legs, can't really see too much overtaking. We saw that one good battle between James Kell and Chris Knox, but that was pretty much it. Looks like you're driving, Faye. You might have to. I don't know what Paul's been doing. I think he might need some of those bacon rolls that Housey was having. Right. Well, pulls off into the pits. Mark Ratcliffe is out. Oh wait, where's my guy? Where's my guy? Was it Christian Wafer? No. Where is he? Was it Tom Holbrook? I'm just going to look at everyone who is out. Where's my Spidey car? Do not deny me. Oh, it's this, isn't it? It's John Westbrook. There we go, the Spider. That is pretty good. You know, I'm not going to lie. I do like that Spider-Man livery. I wonder, you know, maybe when someone dives down his inside, if I get to interview John Westbrook and he gets overtaken in this race, I'm going to say, oh, when the guy went down your inside, was your Spidey sense tingling? I'm sorry. I make these bad jokes all the time. You guys are just going to, you'll learn to love them. You'll learn to love them, but don't worry, don't worry. I'm just trying to think, what would be cool liveries that you could put on the Ferrari? I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Musto liveries. Musto are an esports team racing the likes of R Factor 2 and the Assetto Corsa Competizione. Their livery for the Ferrari is absolutely breathtaking. But I'm just trying to think if there are any good Ferrari references that you could do. I mean, obviously you could show, you know, the old likes of the Ferrari from the Le Mans series, like Ford versus Ferrari. I can't think of anything else really. Never mind. I do like how it has Marvel Studios on the Sun Strip. Right, so it looks like it is a time for us to jump on into the race. Because everyone is lining up on the grid. And we have had a grid rotation around P6, I believe. Yes, so Chris Knox starting in 6th. Clive Bailey will be starting the race from the front of the grid. Right, so race 2 of the night then. Here at Oulton Park, still waiting for a few drivers to jump on in. And then we will be ready to get going. Here at Oulton Park. Alright, I think that is pretty much everyone on circuit, and the revs are rising at Oulton Park for race 2 of the night for the PureGT iRacing series. And we are underway once again, seeing a few drivers sweeping across each other on the run down towards turn 1 in the background. But Clive Bailey leads the way, but once again it's a good start from the person in P2. And it is Kevin McGlone who leads the way coming out of Old Hall Corner. We can see Chris Knox, he's had a good start up into P5 right now. And he is hot on the back of James Kell, the pair of them having gained a position each as a VR46 car. There's a bit of a moment on the exit of Cascades. And now that is James Kell going down the inside of Clive Bailey. Chris Knox will follow through. And Clive Bailey, oh, that is a big contact in the background. Max Hunt is off into the barriers. And I think Martin Thomas was involved in that as well. Indeed, he was. So, bit of an incident running down into Old Shell Corner. On lap 1, you're always bound to get an incident on the opening lap of the race. And it didn't really happen. Well, actually, it did happen in race 1. We just didn't quite catch it. But we have caught it in this, or at least the aftermath of it. Barry Rabbit's made a mistake, and that's going to mean James Kell is able to fly past. Can Chris Knox follow through quickly as well? Knox, of course, will pass Barry Rabbit back in the Donington reverse race. But Oulton Park, as we discussed, a little bit harder to overtake. So, after one lap here at Oulton Park, Kevin McGlone leads from James Kell, Barry Rabbit and Chris Knox. Clive Bailey further 2 seconds down the road. And Chris Knox knows that he needs to get the job done as quickly as possible because he has to hunt down James Kell up ahead. You can see James Kell getting a much better exit coming out of Cascades. Does run that little bit wide. Chris Knox just lifting off into Island Corner. Oh, that back end stepping out on the brakes there down into old Shell Hairpin. Chris Knox is all over the rear tail. Tell you what, we might also be having some battles down here. Richard Abra on the back of Mark Radcliffe and Clive Bailey pulling away in the process. Richard Abra had a look around the outside into Britain, which is never going to work out. Chris Knox still tucked in behind Barry Rabbit. So Kevin McGlone, James Kell, Barry Rabbit, Chris Knox, and then further down the order, we've got Tom Holbrook and Richard Abra. Oh, big crash, big crash. I'm not quite sure what's happened. That is coming out. That's coming out of Druids. What has happened between Chris and Knox? Max Hunt is in the pits. Martin Thomas, he's coming around now. But Chris Knox, oh dearie me. That's ended up in absolute disaster for him. Will he have to come into the pit? Surely. There has to be so much damage on the car, and he's going to dive on in. But that was a big accident. Here comes Mark Ratcliffe on Clive Bailey. Late on the brakes, a little bit of a tap, and just slots his way through. That was a proper BTCC move if I've ever seen one. Little bit of a bump, make the gap for yourself, slot your way through. It wasn't a hard tap, it was just that little bit of a kiss on the rear end. Just left a tramp stamp mark, did Mark Ratcliffe, and he's up into P3. No, John Westbrook. It's in the pit. Spidey Man. Rip Spidey Man. Well, Richard Abra on the back of Clive Bailey still. And it's still searching for a way through. Sorry, it's Clive Bailey on the back of Richard Abra. Unless Richard Abra just found a way through. James Kell. Sticking with Kevin McGlone. They're not really trying to find a way through just yet. I think Richard Abbott just got past Clive Bailey. Clive Bailey runs wide, and Clive Bailey will lose the back end and runs into the barrier as well. It was a very light tap that he made, but a tap nonetheless. And Kevin McGlone has made a mistake because James Kell is now 3 seconds up the road. So I think Kevin McGlone must have had an issue going through Cascades. I don't think it would have been through Old Hall Corner. Old Hall Corner being turn 1, because if it was, we would have seen that when we saw Clive Bailey having his moment. Clive Bailey, half a second behind Steve Kasher. Tell you what, Richard Abra not really pulling away from Mark Ratcliffe and Tom Holbrook. Also, what happened to Barry Rabbit? No, never mind. Barry Rabbit's closing into these three. Last time round, Barry Rabbit was half a second quicker than Tom Holbrook. 35.6 on the last lap. 2 seconds quicker than Clive Bailey, who got overtaken by Richard Abra. Oh, Barry Rabbit. Oh, no. On the exit of Druids. Just puts the wheel on the grass. Gets on the power too eagerly, and he will have to get towed back to the pits after that one. Tom Holbrook then right on the back of Mark Radcliffe, and he's actually going to send it down the inside through Old Hall Corner. And pulls off the move as well. So, Tom Holbrook up to P4. Can Tom Holbrook potentially close in on to Richard Abra? Well, this race here at Oulton Park certainly hasn't been devoid of its action. So, for those of you tuning in, it's lap 5 of 10, the second race of the night here at Oulton Park. James Curl leads by 3 seconds from Kevin McGlone. Richard Abra a further 2.5 seconds behind. Then you've got Tom Holbrook 2 more seconds behind. Mark Ratcliffe in P5, Steve Kasher P6, Clive Bailey P7. Who was that? That was Mark Ratcliffe. Oh, making contact with whoever's in P13. Oh, dearie, dearie me. That was John Westbrook just coming out of the pits. So John Westbrook finally having been towed back to the pits, finally having had his repairs in. And look at that front right tyre of Mark Ratcliffe. That definitely does not look kosher. Steve Kasher will, I'm sure, be overtaking Mark Ratcliffe by the end of this lap. We'll have to see how much damage is on Mark Ratcliffe's car. But the drama is not stopping at all here at Oulton Park. Barry Rabbit out of the race. He's pulled the plug. Chris Knox has somehow climbed back up at 2 P10. He's a lap down after his incident that he had, I think. I forget who it was with now. I think it might have been with... was it with John Westbrook? No, John Westbrook had a different incident on the opening lap, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been John Westbrook. Might have been Max Hunt as well. Either way, there's been a lot that has happened in this race, and it has made it difficult to keep up with everything. Ooh! Oh no, Mark Ratcliffe has gone from bad to worse. He's lost it very, very late through through Lodge Corner. And he's going to have to dive on into the pits. I'll tell you what, those bonnets on the Ferraris do fly off rather easily. I guess I should say while we're in this current lull, this current low of the race. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Yusuf Melkisiro bin Sahel. I am an esports commentator working on sim racing and League of Legends. It's my pleasure to be bringing you this race tonight. If you haven't already, you can hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date with all of my commentary works, whether that be for the PureGT iRacing series or other commentaries that I do, and that being on other games. And to stay up to date with all of my works, you can follow me on Twitter at MilkySerial73, and that way you'll be able to stay up to date when I commentate for other series such as the Endurance E-Racing World Championship, Le Mans 24-hour race later on in the year, as well as some other big events coming up, but those are not streamed from this channel. Got 6 hours of Watkins at Glen in a month as well, which should be good fun. But Kevin McGlone dropping down the order. Richard Abra now ahead. So one mistake from Kevin McGlone saw him drop behind James Cull. This new mistake on the exit of Old Hall Corner sees him drop behind Richard Abra. And that's actually Chris Knox right behind. So Chris Knox will be wanting to find a way past for honour. Doesn't matter that he's a lapped car. He's currently 52 seconds behind Albert Vella, and I don't think, besides a big issue that could happen to Albert Vella, I think Chris Knox will have to settle for P9. A good recovery drive nonetheless from him. I'll tell you what, Kevin McGlone is not falling back from Richard Abra. As we start the penultimate lap of the race, lap 9 of 10. In this 15-minute race, 2 minutes left on the clock. Last lap was a 35.4 from Chris Knox. 7/10 slower than James Cull, but that being said, he has been in the dirty air, we can say, of Kevin McGlone. His back end really stepping out, coming out of Britain's. Kevin McGlone now a second behind Richard Abra. Chris Knox is struggling. I wonder if there is still a bit of lingering damage on his Ferrari. Of course, when you do pit in iRacing for repairs, you have optional repairs and mandatory repairs. So it's possible that Chris Knox only got the mandatory repairs done, which could mean that he's still losing a few tenths a lap. Okay, so Max Hunt on the last lap was 5 seconds quicker than Christian Wafer. Never mind being quicker, he's spun it around, and that will be John Westbrook flying through. John Westbrook will be lapping Paul Wafer. So, John Westbrook passes Christian Wafer. Wait, no, he hasn't passed Christian Wafer. Christian Wafer's just up ahead. Last lap of the race then. James Cull pretty much home free. He's 8 seconds clear of Richard Abra. Speaking of Richard Abra, still under a little bit of pressure from Kevin McGlone, who's flashing the lights. Just trying to maybe hope for a mistake as Richard Abra gets very, very close to the grass on the exit, or on the entry, I should say, into Knickerbrook. Steps onto the grass as Richard Abra, but either way, it's James Cull who'll win Racer 2 of the night. Reeves in celebration. Richard Abra will come home in second place ahead of Kevin McGlone. Tom Holbrook is a further 20 seconds back. Nice little celebratory bit of contact. Okay, here we go. John Westbrook on the back of a Christian Wafer. What can Spidey Man pull out? Can he find the exit through Knickerbrook? He gets a good exit. This is a battle for P11. Don't forget, there's going to be no option through Clay Hill. And on the run down towards the Druids, John Westbrook taking a much wider entry, and he needs to do so. Can he carry more speed? I think he does. Christian Wafer will hold the inside. John Westbrook looks to the outside, switches back to the inside, puts the wheel on the grass, late on the brakes. John Westbrook down the inside. They make contact, and John Westbrook, whether you think it was clean or not, either way, John Westbrook is up into P11 and will secure the position. It was Steve Kasher who took P5 ahead of Clive Bailey, Martin Thomas in P7, Albert Vella P8, Mark Radcliffe P9, and Chris Knox in P10. Christian Wafer will be very sad that he's down in P12, but it is what he'll have to settle for. But there you have it. The final race of the night. Now the question is anyone looking to jump into the old interview room here? We will have to wait and see. Oh, Chris has messaged me. So apologies, it's not James Kell driving, it's Darren Kell. He's driving on his son's account. Wait, no. I don't know. It's Darren, not James Kell. But there you have it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Still just taking a look in the chat if anyone is waiting in the old interview room. And at the moment, nobody is. It would be nice to speak to our top 3 drivers of James Kell, Richard Arborough, Kevin McClone. At least top 3 from the opening race. Either way, if any of our viewers do have to head off, we will be back next Wednesday evening, same time, 8 PM GMT. We will be starting the stream and qualifying at 8:20. Not sure what circuit we will be at yet. I think that is still to be decided. But either way, make sure you tune in, or if you want to race, then you can race. You need to speak to Mr. Chris Knox about that one. I'm not seeing anyone in the interview waiting room. So, on that note, we will end things here. Thank you guys, everyone, so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure to bring you qualifying and the 2 races tonight. If you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of my own content, and follow on Twitter at Milky073 to stay up to date with everything I do, whether it's on my own channel or for other organizations and other series. Got some cool stuff coming through in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that is everything that we do have time for. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, stay fast.